Hello Southeast Virtual members, here's a quick tutorial on how to properly download aircraft from southeastvirtual.org and then installing them inside your flight simulator. For today's tutorial you'll need two windows. The first one is a window inside your flight simulator, more specifically C/program files/Microsoft Games /Microsoft Flight Simulator X. The second window you'll need is actually a website, southeastvirtual.org. Let's start with the website. Make sure you're signed in for starters, and then on the left under Main Menu, locate the Fleet section. Click on Fleet once. Once the Fleet section loads up, you're going to have multiple options. The first one is Fleet Aircraft, the second is Non-Fleet Aircraft, and then Miscellaneous Files. For the purpose of today's tutorial, we're looking for an aircraft, so let's go to Fleet. Once you're in the Fleet section, you'll see aircraft type categories such as airliners, regional jets, turboprops, freighters, general aviation, and vintage. For today's tutorial, click on Vintage. Once you're in the Vintage section, you'll see all the vintage aircraft that Southeast Virtual operates. For this tutorial, let's use the Convair 580. Click on the aircraft's name or the Southeast Virtual logo next to the name to access the download page. Once you are inside the specific aircraft download page, you'll be presented with a brief description of the aircraft, technical data links, and then data for the actual download. If you're properly signed in, you should see a little button saying Download. Believe it or not, it won't download unless you press the download button, so let's do that. Here we're prompted with, do we want to open or save the file? It's always better to save the file because we want to have a physical copy of that file on our hard drive and we want to be able to edit it and even move it. In this case, save it to your desktop as it will be easier for us to extract the files when the download is complete. Now, depending on the size of the aircraft, the download time will vary. It'll take between 10 seconds and a minute for your file to download. Now the aircraft is downloaded to the desktop, sev_cv580.rar. Now if you're not familiar with the .rar format, it's a type of archive file. The same thing as WinZip. If you have WinZip on your computer, WinZip will be able to open that. If you have WinRAR on your computer, WinRAR will obviously open that file as well. Now I told you earlier that you needed to have your Microsoft Flight Simulator X directory open. Let's set it up right now. Pull up your directory. Inside your directory, locate a file called SimObjects. Open SimObjects. As we're looking to add an aircraft, you will want to open the appropriate folder called Airplanes. Inside the Airplanes folder, you'll find a folder list of all the default and third-party aircraft that are installed in your flight simulator. Note that each folder here represents an aircraft. So scroll to the end of the folder list and locate an area that is clear of any folders. This area will be used to copy over your new aircraft. Now let's return to the desktop. There's the sev_cv580.rar folder still there. Let's double click on it. Once it opens up, you'll see the file's complete directory. For this aircraft, there's only one folder inside, CV580. Click and drag CV580 onto the desktop. Once you do this, WinRAR will begin extracting the folder to your desktop. Again, depending on the file size, the extraction time will vary. Alright, the Convair 580 aircraft has now been copied to the desktop, and we no longer need the .rar archive, so we can close it. On your desktop, you now have a folder called CV580. There are two options of doing this. You can either click and drag the file into your Airplanes folder, or you can simply right-click on the folder, select Cut, and then inside the Airplanes folder, right-click and select Paste. Either way will work. But if you do decide to drag the file into Flight Simulator Airplanes folder, make sure you do not accidentally drop it on another folder or on a folder that is highlighted. because the folder will be absorbed inside the folder highlighted. So make sure you always click and drag it to an area that is clear of other folders. And voila! The Convair 580 is now installed in your flight simulator. The steps used for today's tutorial can also be applied towards other aircraft downloads from Southeast Virtual. Enjoy!